Willkommen hier bei uns bei der Second Stage, liebe Leute. Und bei uns jetzt zu Gast ist Roland Lesterlin. Have I pronounced it correctly?
You did.
Yes?
Pretty good.
Wow. It's the first time.
In German, too.
Yeah, in German. Roland Lesterlin. Und natürlich, wie war deiner? What's your name again?
Ich bin Norbert.
Norbert.
Ja. Ja.
Und er ist Game Director von Avalanche, den Machern von Just Cause 3. Und er ist hier, um uns ein bisschen Fragen und Antwort zu stehen. And you just told me you've met one of our hosts, Niels, at E3, at our Twitch booth at the E3.
I did. Correct? We were looking at Just Cause at that time, and you know that was kind of our first really big announcements, our first big trailers coming out, and it was the first time that we gave people real hands-on time with the game, and it's pretty exciting to see all the reaction for it. So
what have you done in the between time between E3 and Gamescom?
A lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work, polishing, trying to make the game as good as possible. A lot of long days, but it's been fun, and we're getting to a point now where we're starting to talk about the story, and we're starting to talk about missions and our weird interpretation of how we do upgrades, because Rico doesn't really get upgraded that much. You know, he's already a
He is a living upgrade.
He is a living upgrade, exactly.
But so, since you just mentioned that you basically announced the game at E3, I guess a lot of fans gave you feedback on what you showed them at E3. So, first of all, how were the reactions from the fans, and did they say something where you went like, "Oh, that's a good feedback. We built that in," or something like that?
I mean, the fans have been giving us feedback since day one.
Yeah.
You know, they've been very vocal since Just Cause 2, and it is a very excited fan base for a new sequel. And you know, when you start with that responsibility up front, I was a big Just Cause 2 fan too when I came on board, and to have the responsibility to then drive a new project forward, there's a lot of people out there that have very high expectations for this game, and we've been listening to all the feedback, all the modders out there that have been changing Just Cause 2 and adding new features themselves. And of course, we have a whole bunch of really talented devs that were all Just Cause 2 fans too. But since E3, you know, we're really in that polish and closing phase. So at this point, we've put almost everything we could possibly imagine into the game. It is a massive game, and now it's about making sure it's as beautiful as possible, and you know that we polish every corner of the world.
So the Just Cause series is basically a big sandbox game where you can do almost anything that you, or destroy anything that you can imagine, and how do you build from that? How do you top that? Because Just Cause 2 was like that already, but you have to deliver. You know, you have to give the fans something even bigger.
Yeah,
and it's not easy for a game like Just Cause. There are games where you can say, okay, the houses are now twice as high, or something like that. But at Just Cause, I guess it's difficult to top that.
Well, we could always say the explosions need to be twice as big now.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, the whole Just Cause franchise is a very different sort of game than a lot of others, because it is a sort of one that just brings joy. You know, it's like being a 12-year-old playing a game, and you want to smile and enjoy yourself and blow stuff up and, you know, just have a break from everything else, you know, take a vacation from it. And it's always in these beautiful paradises that it's built. So we wanted to build a whole new paradise, and surprisingly, no one's really done a really big open world in the Mediterranean setting. So that gave us an opportunity to do something that people are not really used to seeing. Plus, we've upgraded all of our technology, which allows us to do cool things with caves and tunnels and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So just adding in this huge world and then adding in the subterranean part too, that alone is like gives the world this new feel. And then of course we took Rico and said the grapple hook and the parachute were great. Yeah. And that's the sort of thing that just made you smile.
Yeah, I know,
and you're like, you know, you throw yourself off of anything and usually you die, but in Just Cause, that's the start of something. And then we were like, well, let's add in the wingsuit. And then you do a wingsuit, and then you have the grapple hook with the wingsuit, and you go soaring through this giant open world, or go to the top of our giant mountaintop and go down through the snow-capped peaks all the way down to the beach in one fell swoop. It's just joy.
I guess. I mean, I'm an avid video player since since I was 6 years old, and of course I always dreamt of making my own game. Like, and if I would make a game, I would put this in there and that in there. And you're now at a point. It's a sandbox game, but not only for the players, but also for the developers, because
for sure.
You can say stuff like, okay, let's give him that or that, and yeah, sure, why not? And
we
it's
need
in there.
dinosaurs.
Yeah. So it's even. I guess is it like that? Is it really fun to develop a game like that where you can do almost anything that you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, as developers, you're always looking for opportunities to express yourself and to do cool stuff. We want to make games that we want to play too. And so that first love of, is this fun enough? Is this good enough for us? And then hopefully once you get past that marker and you do play tests and you're like, is this good enough for the fans? That together, you're going to have fun doing it. I mean, we make Just Cause every day when I go to work. And I'm like testing a new feature. Someone's like, hey, by the way, I can put nitrous on every vehicle in the world now. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Here's a tractor. And they're like, yeah, you can put nitrous on the tractor.
How about boats?
Boats,
Is
you
that
put
possible
nitrous
too?
on a boat. Yeah, why not? Because
cool.
it's hilarious. And so you do that, and then suddenly you're messing around with nitrous and on a boat. And you're like, can I jump over this whole part of the island? And you just keep messing around. And then an hour later, you realize you got to get back to work. But that's the job every day.
Did you decline something? Did some of your development crew, or did anyone came to you and said, "Hey, Roland, I have a great idea," and he pitched you something, and you said, "No, that's totally crazy. Get the fuck out of my office."
Well, if it was totally crazy, it probably got in the game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If it was like really mundane, like I want to put us standing in line for getting cash out of the ATM.
You can brake now with the car.
Yes, there's brakes on it, and they don't skid and they're silent. Then you'd be like, well, why don't you make that idea a little crazier? And then we'll do it.
Rethink it a little bit.
Reload weapons, get out of here.
No, for the most part, we try to set a set of creative boundaries in the beginning. We say, we set who our villain was, we set our location, we are modern day, so it takes place kind of today.
Yeah.
So we don't do anything super sci-fi, we don't really go way back in the past. We try to keep it pretty modern day, and within that rule set, we're really free to do almost anything we want.
That's what I liked about the trailer of Just Cause 3, that it's, like you said, of course it's not realistic in a way, but it plays in certain boundaries that are like our boundaries. So when he blows stuff up, or he connects something and blows stuff up, you always think, it could be possible. I never actually tried it because then I would be dead. But it could be like that. It's not science. It's not like science fiction or fantasy. It's like in the real. It's happening in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, we have amazing physicists who work within the game, and it is real physics.
I mean, we see it right there.
Yeah.
There we go. There are real impulses. The bullets create real impulses. The bridge destroy in realistic ways. You shoot someone out of a paratrooper out of their parachute, they're going to fall to the ground in a realistic way. But it's in that sort of beautiful, surrealistic way that is the joyful one when you were a kid and you imagine the craziest action moments ever. Well, that's what Just Cause is meant to give you. You shoot out a tire, instead of the car lamely going to the side and the person getting out and changing the tire, the whole car flips over and explodes. I mean,
that doesn't look realistic at all. He just
he rode a propane tank into the air. That might be realistic.
He rides the propane tank.
That's a good idea, actually. A pretty fun mode where everything is mundane and you basically have everything real down to, like, when you shoot something, it makes boom and stops. There's no explosions. Cars just don't drive off the street. They just stop flat. The most realistic version of life and the most boring. There is just implemented as a mode, as a mod.
That's a mod.
Yeah.
The super realistic mode.
Super real,
boring ass mod. That's something new.
I think that we can ask our fans that the next modding community, hey guys, let's make the super realistic mod.
You have to walk to work. Yeah, and you have to put gas in the car.
Yeah.
and it's really expensive and exhausting. And
I like the difference between what we're talking about and,
and
what's
really
on the
going on.
screen.
So tell us a little bit about the new features, something that's not in Just Cause 2.
Not in Just Cause 2. Well,
Okay, we'll start with the wingsuit, right?
Wingsuit, that's not in Just Cause 2, and it's a lot of fun, and it creates an amazing sense of traversal. The grapple hook, now you can have multiple grapples at the same time, so instead of just tethering two things together, you can tether one thing to another, to another, to another, and that's really fun. You create these huge chains, and we've given you the ability to actually control the tension of the grapple hook. So you can actually play with that tension, and you can either do it really lightly because it's an analog tension, or you can snap things together and get two cars to hit at the same time and they'll explode together, or you can string someone up against the wall and treat them like a puppet. And it's completely up to you. It's like your sandbox game.
And back when we had the hands-on event in Hamburg, I did an interview with one of your producers, and he told me that it is possible actually to fly with a wingsuit and skillfully combine wingsuit, grapple hook, and the parachute and never touch ground.
Oh yeah,
is that possible?
You can take out an entire base without ever touching the ground.
Okay.
In fact, we have competitions at work to see who can do the craziest base takedowns.
Okay.
You never ever touch the ground, and that's why we stabilize the parachute into that like a better combat platform. Is so you stay up in the air and it comes down much slower, which means you can rain RPGs down on people as much as you want because it's Just Cause.
Realistic?
It's totally
It is.
realistic. That's high realism.
I think we're already out of time, right? You have to go across the hallway, 3 minutes. But let me ask you this. You've been now since, not only since E3, but mainly since E3, you have had a lot of interviews and you've been asked the same questions over and over. But is there something where you go home and say, why is nobody asking this? Why isn't anyone asking? Isn't that interesting? Is there something, or did you heard it all?
That's good.
I don't know. I mean, I think that there's a lot of stuff to talk about within the game, but the game itself is an expression of the player playing it more than needing to listen to me talking about the game. You know, I think most people want to see videos and they want to get in their mind like, hey, what can I do with infinite planted explosives? Well, you could blow up a lot of stuff. Well, I can take a mod that we create. It's kind of our weird upgrade system where you can turn on and off any upgrade you unlock. And one of our upgrades that we have is the ability to turn the planted explosive into a propulsion, like it's as if it was a little propane tank. Yeah. And so you can then plant your explosives on anything, like put 5 of them on a car, set it off, and then that propulsion will jet the car away. Or you can put it on a person and watch them go flying around. And the joy of it is that we've created all these systems, all these crazy things, but they all work together. And so I imagine the questions that people have most is not so much if there's something that I want to talk about, but is the question of all the fans out there asking, hey, can I do this with the game? And hopefully the answer is yes.
I guess from what I've seen so far, the answer is yes, but because I haven't seen a thing where you would say, nah, you can't do that. Where you go like, that's unrealistic.
do you have a favorite feature in the game? What's your favorite whatever?
Favorite thing? I really like the fact that you can get in a car and drive up to a rebel, and you can honk your horn, and the rebels will get in your car. And then you can drive around with them, and they're all kind of crazy, because they'll just lean out of windows and start shooting at any of the military guys that are around. And you can like bring them into combat with you. And the beauty of it is that they're not bad at combat. These guys will get out with shotguns and start taking out soldiers too. And you basically create your own little war that starts. And you know, that actually mixes in with a system in the world where, you know, our regular spawn system, you'll have military driving around, and then you'll have rebels also driving around. If they see each other, they'll stop and start fighting each other. Yeah. And what's great is you can see one of those things and you can say, look, I'm wingsuiting right now, I don't feel like doing that. Or you can go in and like interact with it, and you could really get these giant, almost warlike moments where, you know, helicopters are coming in and rebels are all firing and there's just tons of people in a giant battlefield and you're basically the person who can turn the tide of that battle.
Okay, and if you meet multiple rebels walking down the street and you got a big car, let's say bus or something, and you honk the horn, is there just one get into your car?
You need a four-seater for them to get in because they need to
too?
be able to lean out the windows and shoot stuff.
Okay, 3 is max then.
Yeah, so 3 other rebels is max.
All right.
All right, we
cool.
have to come to an end. December 1st is the release, right?
December 1st.
Yeah, that's
this
correct.
year.
This year, of course. And I'm very happy to have learned that there's actually a word called wingsuiting. It's like a verb.
A verb.
Wingsuiting.
In German?
No, it's an English word.
An
but
English
I'm
word.
wingsuiting to my friend. No, it's not happening right now, but
Is
you
it
can.
a verb?
He
To-
said it.
to
You
wingsuit?
said it.
You could. That's true.
is it-
You
is
can
it-
You
wingsuit
can't
somewhere.
go. You can't interact with them. You won't interact with them while you're wingsuiting. That's what you just
I
said.
did say that. That's
and
true.
it's awesome. It's an awesome word. I imagine a world where we're all wingsuiting.
I'm excited for you to wingsuit home tonight.
I'm going to wingsuit home tonight. And
Can you please record that? Because I would definitely watch it.
you should wingsuit now to the other side of the Gamescom.
There
Have
are so
fun
many
with that.
people
There's
that
so
would
many
probably
You
be
should
easier
get on
to
the
get
roof
there.
here and
Yeah.
wingsuit back over there.
Yeah. Okay, Roland, it was nice having you here. I
it was
wish
a lot
you
of fun.
good luck with the game,
I appreciate
with
it.
the game release, that is. And come back when you have something new.
For sure.
But I guess you will take a break after this one for like
At least a
month.
day.
At least yeah. New
come
York
on.
people, hardest working people
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
We convince the world of that. It's the greatest lie.
It's the greatest lie.
And
Okay.
it's true. It is.
Das war's mit uns. Roland muss leider jetzt rüber ins Business Center, aber ich denke, es war sehr nett hier. Just Cause 3 am 1. Dezember ist es raus. Ich weiß gar nicht, was kommt jetzt? Irgendwas. Ach, wir
es geht
bleiben
weiter mit
quasi-
Square Enix.
Wir bleiben
Ja.
direkt bei Square Enix und
Ja.
schalten rüber zu Gregor auf die Square Enix Bühne. Tschüss.
Tschüss.